We mocked my husband at a neighborhood party. Then he stood up and told me it was over. Forever. Hi Reddit. I'm using a throwaway account because this is humiliating to even write out. And I know my husband follows my main. I honestly never imagined I'd be in this situation. And right now I'm lost. My name is Lisa, I'm 24, and my husband Jack is 26. We've been married for 3 years and met back in college. I always thought we were solid. Not perfect but solid. Jack was my rock. Calm, steady, patient. Maybe too patient. I didn't see it then, but I see it now. I destroyed the very person who loved me most, and it all unraveled in front of our entire neighborhood because of one night. A night where I mocked my own husband with my friends, not realizing it would be the final straw. Let me try to explain. Jack and I were opposites. At first that worked. Jack is an introvert through and through. He enjoys quiet evenings, reading or watching documentaries. Me. I thrive on socializing. Hosting, laughing, being the center of attention, that's my thing. And early on Jack supported that. He never stood in my way, even if it wasn't his scene. He'd go to parties just to make me happy, even if I could tell he'd rather be anywhere else. He never complained. Ever. That was the pattern. Jack would bend over backward to make me happy, and I slowly stopped appreciating it. He'd surprise me with my favorite coffee, cancel his plans to comfort me when I was upset, and he never once asked for anything in return. He let me be a stay-at-home wife, even though we didn't have kids. He worked full-time, came home exhausted, and still cooked, cleaned, handled bills. And I did less and less. No kids, no job, no excuse. Instead of feeling grateful, I started seeing him as weak. I let the wrong people in. Things really started to shift when I reconnected with some old college friends. People who lived for the party life. Carefree, spontaneous, wild. Envied it. They told me I was too young to be tied down. Too lively for a man like Jack. I started believing them. One night, after too many drinks, I told them how Jack catered to me, how he'd do anything I said. Even joked that he'd probably jump off a cliff if I asked. They laughed. I laughed. Felt powerful. Admired. I didn't stop to think what it meant. How cruel I sounded. That became a pattern too. The more Jack gave, the more I mocked him behind his back. My friends started calling him whipped. They joked that I wore the pants that I had Jack trained. And in some sick way, I liked the attention. Jack never confronted me, even when I knew he had overheard the jokes. He'd just smile tightly and go back to doing things for me. Cooking, cleaning, loving me. He never fought, so I thought he'd never leave. I started disrespecting Jack openly. I'd dismiss his opinions at dinners, roll my eyes when he spoke, and ignore him at social events. And the worst part, people followed my lead. Even our friends, they began treating him like a joke. But Jack never lashed out. He just took it. He'd still kiss me goodnight. Still bring me flowers. Still tell me he loved me every morning. And I used that as proof he'd never leave. He loved me too much, right? I was dead wrong. The neighborhood party. The breaking point. The night everything fell apart started like any other. We were at a community party. One of those regular neighborhood get-togethers. Jack manned the grill, smiling, serving everyone like he always did. I was with my friends a few drinks in. The topic of husbands came up. One of my friends joked about how perfectly trained Jack was. And I ran with it. I laughed. I said he'd do anything I told him, that he had no spine, that he didn't know how to say no to me. I could see people laughing. I was putting on a show. And then everything went silent. Jack was standing right there. I hadn't even noticed him walk up. He was pale, quiet, but something in his eyes had changed. He looked straight at me and said, "We need to talk." I followed him without thinking. Everyone was watching. When we were away from the crowd, Jack looked me in the eye. And for the first time in our marriage, he didn't look sad. He looked done. He said, "I'm tired of being your punching bag. I've given everything to this marriage. And all you've done is humiliate me. I'm leaving. We're done. You can pick up your things from the porch." And then, he walked away. Just like that. He meant every word. I ran after him. I thought he was bluffing. But when I got home, he was already packing my stuff. I cried, I begged, I apologized over and over. But Jack didn't yell. He didn't even argue. He just said, "No more. You don't get to treat me like this and expect me to stay." I tried to stay. I said I wasn't leaving. That's when he threatened to call the police. And I believed him. He wasn't the pushover anymore. I left that night carrying a suitcase, mascara running down my face, past the same neighbors who saw us leave the party hours earlier. No one said a word. Not even the friends who used to laugh with me. I guess they were never really my friends at all. Now I'm alone, and I deserve it. It's been a few days. I'm staying at my parents' house. Jack won't return my calls or texts. I don't think he ever will. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to fix this, or if it even can be fixed. The truth is, I disrespected someone who gave me nothing but love. I mocked a man who gave me the world. I let my need for attention destroy my marriage. And I underestimated a man who, for so long, just wanted to be enough. Jack stood up for himself. And I lost him. I guess I just needed to say it out loud to someone. Maybe you'll all call me a terrible person. I wouldn't blame you. I just needed to get this off my chest. Thanks for reading. Lily.